TikTok, an app that started as a hub for dance trends and lip-syncing videos, is now at the center of one of the most controversial tech debates in history. Once a playground for teens, it grew into a global sensation, but beneath the viral dances and catchy challenges lies a darker narrative. How did an app meant for fun transform into a perceived national security threat, forcing the US to take unprecedented action? This is what we will be discussing in today's video. This is Zeph Singh. To understand why TikTok became such a divisive issue in America, we first need to trace its roots back to China, where it all began. ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, was founded by Chinese entrepreneur Zhang Yiming. Initially, the company's claim to fame was a news aggregator app called Taoxiao, designed to feed users content tailored to their preferences. But in 2016, ByteDance launched Douyin, a short video app aimed at Chinese users. The app was an instant hit, and sensing its potential on a global scale, ByteDance created a version for international audiences, TikTok. The app's first big break came in 2017 when ByteDance acquired Musical Lie, a popular lip-syncing app. By merging TikTok with Musical Lie, the company successfully gained a foothold in Western markets, particularly among teenagers. What made TikTok stand out was its algorithm, which seemed to read your mind, offering an endless stream of content tailored to your tastes. From goofy dance challenges to oddly satisfying videos, TikTok wasn't just an app, it was a lifestyle. But as TikTok was rapidly gaining millions of users worldwide, concerns about the app's operations were quietly growing in the background. By 2019, TikTok had already become a cultural powerhouse. Viral trends dominated the internet. Who could forget the meteoric rise of Lil Nas X's Old Town Road, which became a record-breaking hit thanks to TikTok? Suddenly, artists, creators, and brands realized that TikTok wasn't just about fun, it was about influence. It could launch careers, revive old songs, and even set the tone for pop culture itself. The platform was also an incubator for creativity. Ordinary people became overnight sensations by creating relatable or absurdly entertaining content. From cooking hacks to comedy sketches, TikTok was a goldmine of ideas. By 2020, the app had amassed over 1 billion monthly active users, making it the most downloaded app in the world. But while TikTok appeared harmless on the surface, some were starting to wonder, what's the cost of all this fun? In 2019, TikTok faced its first major controversy in the US when it was fined $5,700,000 for violating child privacy laws. The app had reportedly collected data from users under 13 without proper consent. TikTok promised to improve its safeguards, but the incident set off alarms for privacy advocates. Soon, reports began surfacing about TikTok's content moderation practices. Stories emerged alleging that the platform suppressed videos about sensitive topics, particularly those critical of the Chinese government. For instance, while democracy protests in Hong Kong were widely covered on other social platforms, they were strangely absent on TikTok. These revelations raised a critical question. Was TikTok truly independent, or was it influenced by its Chinese parent company, ByteDance? By 2020, TikTok wasn't just a social media app, it had become a focal point of geopolitical tension between the US and China. The Pentagon warned US military personnel to delete TikTok from their devices, citing fears that the Chinese government could access user data. Soon after, federal agencies followed suit, banning the app from government-issued devices. The tipping point came when the FBI and cybersecurity experts voiced concerns about how ByteDance might handle user data. With over 100 million UU-based users, TikTok had access to a treasure trove of personal information. Critics feared that this data could be handed over to the Chinese government under China's national security laws. Even more troubling were allegations that TikTok's algorithm, designed to keep users hooked, could be manipulated for propaganda purposes. Could the app subtly influence public opinion or interfere in democratic processes? The possibility was enough to spark calls for action. The first real push against TikTok came during the Trump administration. In 2020, President Trump issued an executive order threatening to ban TikTok unless ByteDance sold its US operations to an American company. Microsoft, Oracle, and Walmart all expressed interest, but no deal was ever finalized. ByteDance sued the Trump administration, arguing that the executive order violated due process. The legal battles dragged on, and the issue was left unresolved when Joe Biden took office in 2021. Initially, the Biden administration appeared less aggressive toward TikTok. However, mounting pressure from lawmakers and security experts reignited the debate. By 2023, bipartisan support for stricter regulations on TikTok was growing in Congress. Legislators accused the company of failing to protect user data and dismissed its promises of transparency as insufficient. In response, TikTok launched an aggressive public relations campaign. The company migrated its US user data to Oracle-managed servers, claiming this move would prevent any unauthorized access. It also announced new policies to combat harmful content and promote safety, but critics weren't convinced. TikTok CEO Shou-Zi Chew even appeared before Congress in a highly publicized 6-hour hearing to defend the platform. He argued that TikTok operated independently of ByteDance and that the app posed no greater risk than other social media platforms. But lawmakers weren't buying it. By this point, the app had become a symbol of broader concerns about Chinese influence in the US. In 2024, the US Congress passed a bill giving ByteDance an ultimatum: sell TikTok to an American company or face a nationwide ban. ByteDance refused, claiming that such a move violated the First Amendment. The case eventually reached the Supreme Court, which upheld the federal law banning TikTok in January 2025. On the day the ban took effect, millions of US users opened TikTok to find a message saying, "A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now." The app was also removed from Apple and Google app stores, marking the end of its era in America. The story of TikTok's rise and fall is more than just the tale of a social media app. It's a reflection of the growing tension between the US and China over technology, privacy, and national security. It also raises important questions about how governments should regulate platforms that hold immense power over our data and culture. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: TikTok wasn't just a threat because of where it came from. It was a wake-up call for how much power we've handed over to technology without fully understanding the consequences. And maybe, just maybe, this is the beginning of a much larger conversation about the future of social media in our lives.